We're going to make a strapless top, and there can be many ways to do this type of top, but I wanted to show you a really important technique. So here's what we're going to grab our pen tool from the top left, the toolbar, and we're going to click and drag out a quarter of the pattern. By now, if you followed the other videos, you know how to do this like a pro. So a quarter of the pattern, and then we're going to um, select it, right click, and we're going to select symmetric pattern. So here we have the other half of the pattern. Symmetric pattern with sewing instead, we selected. So here we have the front pattern. We're going to just drag that rectangular tool around it, copy and paste, and place this pattern here to the back, and this becomes the back pattern. Then we're going to right click on this pattern because it's on the wrong side. We're going to flip it horizontally, and then we're going to line up these patterns and use a segment sewing tool to sew them. So one of the ways we can create this a strapless top is we're going to be using some internal lines. Okay, here I'm going to just make it a little larger by double clicking at the point in the center. It becomes light green, and we just enlarging it a bit. So yes, we're going to use internal lines to achieve this objective, and we're going to see how we work with these internal lines, and we're going to also understand about something about the internal lines, that they should be, when you draw them within a pattern, make sure that they're extended out to both ends of the pattern. So I'm going to show you how we do this. Skin offset sets the space between the avatar and the fabric to prevent clipping. So sometimes if you increase the value, then the material doesn't clip into the skin. It just doesn't go into the skin. So skin offset, you increase the value, and that then you don't have those problems anymore, because you notice that the neckline, you was like a little bit of fabric going clipping into the skin a bit. So these are all, there's all a symmetry here, okay, on both pattern pieces. And that's important because I'm going to be drawing the line right above the bust area, and I'm going to be shaping it too. So not only it's going to be the edit pattern, edit the line tool with a pen, but we're going to be using the edit curve tool also. So the important thing is to understand, which tools do I use? Okay, you got to draw a line. Which tools do I use? Okay. you have to make some sort of a edit. Which ones? So we select the pen tool and we click here and we clicked to the end of we click on the outline of the pattern and you see this, it's done on the other half of the pattern. Now, very important thing, select the edit pattern tool, right click, okay, on this. And it's important, very important, the extend trim and add point, or the extend trim and add point to outline, because this then you're sure that this line extends to both lines, because if not, when you try to cut, you may have big problems. So this is something that you always need to do. Okay, so here we went back again, right click, and we to cut and sew. Before we cut and sew though, we can sort of curve these lines. So edit arc, we want to just curve it a little bit. So give it a nice shape. So edit arc is for curving. Right click again now, and we cut and sew this time. So in the 2D window, when you see it separated like that, it was cut and sewn. So we cut and sew. Now we have to do the same thing to the back pattern. We have to draw these lines with the pen tool from one line to part to the other, an outline to the other. And then edit pattern tool, because we want to right click on that internal line and check that it's extended trim and added point to the outline. Then we want to edit arc. Okay, so repeating exactly what we did. And then we go back to the edit pattern because we want to cut and sew. Right click, cut and sew. So we have these pattern pieces that are separated, and this is important for what we have to do next. Okay, we simulate and it looks okay. So we're going to add a fabric and we're going to click on this fabric that we've added. And this fabric, it's going to be a fabric that's going to represent transparency. So we go into the property editor and we scroll. We scroll and we need to find here a property, alpha property of this material. And the alpha, it's under transparent map, shows transparency. It's like opacity then. If you bring this value down, then the fabric becomes transparent. Okay, you turn it up, it's not, you bring it down, it becomes transparent. And with that fabric once selected, the transparency is automatically added to that fabric. We would like to name our things, like, for example, there's fabric one written, but try to remember the transparency was dragged and dropped onto the fabric, you see, in the 3D window. And you can drag it, drop it. And there you have your strapless top. A strapless top with really a structure, okay? So this is one way you can create this strapless top. We want to write transparency. You just click once where fabric one was written, write transparent. So you remember that that's the fabric that was applied to the pattern piece. Now there in the middle, you will want to merge this. So you can just click on it, right click and merge. Okay. When you merge, you right click and you cancel the axis. So there's no symmetry anymore. It's not divided. You do the same for the front pattern. You simulate and everything looks fine. You can change the color of the default fabric. Let's add some color. There again, you can add whatever color you want to. Another thing you can do, you can just the edge or the hem of this strapless top, you can just use the edit pattern tool. You pull down both the front and the back and you can create a sort of a dress already. So there again, you can go along and try to experiment and you can just come up with something really interesting. You can also just draw out one panel, rectangular panel like this. And this is another way of doing a strapless top. Then with the edit pattern tool, you can just click on the points and shape them. Here we have the front. We position it in this way. We copy and paste to get the back pattern. So instead of going through and doing all that, you could just you use these panels to save time. Of course, at the end of the day, you'd have to evaluate which one is better depending on what type of garment you're creating to. So that'll be up to you. Bring it a little closer. And you could segment sew this. Simulate. And here we have this strapless top again. So there are many things you can do too. You can, for example, if you need this to stay up like that, you don't want it sliding for some reason, you can use the skin offset that was shown before. Like you can click on the avatar, right click on the avatar, and on the property editor to your right, you'll see skin offset, and there you can raise the value, and then you won't have this slipping. Another thing you can do is the top area, you can add elastic also. The elastic skin offset here, as we've said, or elastic to keep this up, to keep it stable. And to do that, you'd have to go to your edit pattern tool. and you click on one line, hold down shift and click on the other. In order to select both together, you need to hold down shift. In the property editor, elasticity, you turn that on, and there you go. Between the strength and the ratio, you manipulate this better. And you can simulate and see what comes out. This is just a quick information about elasticity, but we're going to go over it in another lesson in detail. So that's it for making these strapless tops. See you in the next video. Bye for now.